Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Bharanau Raghuvar Vimal Jasu Jo Dayak Falchari Buddhihin Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Tehu Mohi Harahu Kales Vikar सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. Five valor have been pointed out in our scriptures. उसको कहते हैं महावीर. There is Ranveer, means, and not only, we don't have to go and fight wars or, shoot people with guns or any such thing. That's not our, or to take gun bullets to ourselves, no. That's not what, but whenever there is a challenging situation, whether with a person, whether with a group, whether in society, not to give up. That is called as Ranveer. Then second is Dayaveer. Compassion is the ornament of people of valor, great people. And compassion is towards people who even may be inimical towards you. But to have compassion, not be revengeful, but to have compassion. That's why somebody asked Ramchandraji that you have already made Vibhishan the king of Lanka. Because the moment Vibhishan came to Ramchandraji on Hanumanji saying, Lankeshwar bhai sab jag jana. And once Ramchandraji gives his word, so now if Ravan comes and surrenders, you're sending Angad. But suppose you're saying Angad as ambassador for Ravan to surrender, then what will you do? Vibhishan, you've already made a king. He said, I'll give him the kingdom of Ayodhya if Ravan surrenders. No? I'll tell Bharat and give the kingdom of Ayodhya. This kind of compassion. Now, these stories do come from legend. They may not be there in the original Ramayana, but you know that any Rakshasa, even whom Bhagwan killed, gave liberation, or those who surrendered, Bhagwan gave liberation. So compassion. With that comes forgiveness also. This quality of virta. It gives us a lot of mental strength also. So it's not just that you have the brutal strength, strategy, weapons. The spirit that should be there. To fight the battle. And we have seen that. The Vietnam War, many of you have heard about it, right? How many years the mighty nuclear power could not defeat those tribals in Vietnam? How did they manage? That finally, these nuclear powers had to retreat from that country. That spirit, that is called as Virta. So Ranveer. Then we have Dayaveer. Then you have Vidyaveer. Which means many times we can lecture people on many great things. Advise people also. Teach people also. But when it is time to apply it in our life or to apply it in a situation, and particularly apply our expertise and knowledge in social work or in the mission, that time our knowledge application fails us. In Mahabharata, typical example of that is Karna. All the knowledge he got, In moments of panic, he forgot it. You might say it's a curse of great people, but he forgot it. Knowledge is there, but its application in the same knowledge, the same expertise, in different situations, how to apply it timely, with alertness, is called as Vidya Veer, or even to live up to our own knowledge. No? At least the titles we claim of this knowledge, that knowledge, a doctorate in this, etc., can we live up to that knowledge? That is called as Vidya Veer. And when life situations, and especially as spiritual seekers, we hear forgiveness, compassion, oh, you must not get angry. But when situations come in, we give in right away, is it not? So, Vidya Veer. Ranveer, Daya Veer, Vidya Veer. Then Tyag Veer or Dharma Veer. To live up to Dharma uncompromisingly. Yeah? And for that, one must have Tyaga. One must have a spirit of readiness to accept, to sacrifice. Therefore, both Tyagaveer and Dharmaveer are the two names given in the 5 Veerta that is there in Mahavir. And last but not the least, do you know what is it? Danaveer. So, Daan mein kya veerta chahiye? Because you know, no? Even the thought comes to your mind to give charity. Do you know what happens immediately? And even by the time your hand goes to the pocket, it doesn't come out only, it loses all its strength. Yeah? To give, to share, it requires a lot of courage. वो बचपन में गाना गाते थे, तुम 1 पैसा दोगे वो 10 लाख देगा. सुनते थे कि नहीं? It is true. वो 1 पैसा देने के लिए भी जो कंजूसी होती है, to give anything, it takes a lot of courage, because we want to secure our future generations. Yeah? And nowadays, whether your children will marry and have children also is a question mark. No? See how it is? That Daan Veerta. The one who has these 5 Veertas. Now, in the battlefield, you say, what do you need all these 3 or 4? But they go to build the complete strength of your mind. Now, these have to be developed within us. And life situations help us to develop it. And whenever I meet youngsters and take this topic, or whenever youngsters are working with me, I tell them one thing. Mission is a free avenue for you to develop yourself, your skills, your abilities, your valor, where in the commercial world, you have to pay money to learn it, and you are at the risk of losing your job if you make a mistake. But how will you learn if you don't make mistakes? Here is an avenue where you can develop those skills which you will not even get in your profession. To develop abilities that lie within you and express yourself in such a way, and that too also without paying a price. Not just for learning, that you won't be easily fired off from a job. No? And there's no losses of you even if you make a mistake. Where will you get this opportunity? And that's how many of those youngsters have continued to serve, because they know how much they benefited in this learning, in this practice, in their development, and how it has helped them in their career, in their family, and other avenues of life. Yeah? So these 5 Virta, one who has no challenge in the world can defeat them. No task is daunting, means difficult, frightening. So when Vibhishan comes to Ramchandra ji and says this, really speaking, there's another thing that we must learn. Whenever there is a project, most people will sit and discuss how it can never happen. Not even how it, is difficult to happen. How it can never happen. Napoleon has said, impossible is the word in the dictionary of, you all have heard it because we were also taught. Yeah? In the dictionary of fools. And today in every corporate course, they'll say, the word impossible, if you put a, between I and M, it becomes what? I am possible. This is the sign of Virta, who makes impossible possible. And what better example do we have than our Gurudev? Even the great saints of those times said, what you are thinking is impossible. Yeah? But he made it possible. Because he didn't think. He didn't think in this manner. Yeah? Therefore, at the end of this, we will be giving you a booklet of Gurudev, As I Think. Think like great people. Don't think like, weak people. And therefore, when Vibhishan comes there, now, the worst thing you can do, even to your children, and one must not even do this to your enemy. Arjuna's collapse at the battlefield is not because Arjuna was weak, etc. Dhritarashtra had played a psychological war one night before that will you be able to kill your own brothers? Why don't you just give up the kingdom? Anyway, you all don't want it. Why do you want so much bloodshed? Will you be able to face Bhishma and Drona? And that is what psychologically hit Arjuna, that he would have lost the battle even before fighting. And see how much what we do to our children and our youth. Just when they are going for the examination, are you prepared? Huh? Are you sure you're going to do? Should not even do to your enemy. How many people will just come out? Isn't it too ambitious a project to take up the university? First of all, it was given to us, right? Where centers can't even raise a few lakhs for themselves, you're talking about 1,000 crores. Rather than saying, yeah, we are there to support it. How can it be done? Why should it be done? Is it necessary? Yeah? We don't even ask how you all are managing it. Yeah? You only start thinking, any project, if we start with that attitude, with that anxiety, failure, or to remind someone that something is so difficult, how are you going to manage it? But he is Daya Veer. He neither got angry on Vibhishan, neither did he get discouraged by Vibhishan. He said, Sunahu sakha kaha kripa nidhana. This ocean of, this treasure house, kripa nidhana, treasure house of compassion, kripa. He says, Sunahu sakha. See, in his compassion, he understands that Vibhishan has not come here like Dhritarashtra to discourage him. But even out of these loving words of parents, how easily we can get discouraged. So he doesn't feel discouraged. He doesn't become fearful. This is called as Mahavir. Sunahu sakha kaha kripa nidhana. Jahi jaya hoi so syandana ana. That you are worried that how can I fight this Ravan who has got such a mighty war machine, chariot? But this chariot does not guarantee success or victory. If you want to bring me a chariot, if you want to even give me a chariot, then Jahi Jaya Hoi, that by which there will be sure victory. Sure victory. Jahi Jaya Hoi, so Syandan Ana. Bring me that chariot which will guarantee sure victory. And this chariot, later on Bhagwan calls it as Dharma Ratha. The chariot of Dharma. Yeah? He says, by which sure victory will happen. Otherwise, if this way I can't get it, is there not other ways to do it? If I can't do it, can I not take support from others to do it? And if I have a team who's completely incapable, can I not train that team? Or build another team? But we just give up saying if and buts. And especially when we see a challenging situation, when we see a daunting situation, whether it's in our personal life, whether it is in family, whether we see it in the society, we are ready to give up. But here Ramchandraji says, bring me that chariot that will guarantee sure victory. And from here, Bhagwan's instructions begin. Now, Bhagavad Gita has got the name of Bhagwan, not Arjun Gita. But one wonders why we call this as Vibhishan Gita. Huh? Why do we call this as Vibhishan Gita? Also, there is Uddhav Gita. So sometimes the Gita means a literature, philosophical, spiritual literature, which is sung. That is called as Gita. And when do you sing? When do you sing? When you've got love in your heart, is it not? Song comes from love only. So that's why it is called as Gita. With love, Bhagwan is instructing Vibhishan that looking at my condition, don't feel discouraged. Because, and this is also telling our own mind, that chariot might appear to be a fearsome chariot. But how Jahi Jaya Hoi so Syandan Ana. And what a method of teaching our rishis have through these metaphors. And these exercises you are going to do also. Then you will see that how you are going to build your roadmap. But more than the roadmap, how are you going to build your team? If you build it in a picture form, then you see how it imprints in our mind easily. Even for memory. If you associate each name, now you learn so many names, no? It's not easy to remember. Some of you must have already given up. But if you associate it with some scene, you will immediately remember it. This is such beautiful. This is the psychology of even communicating knowledge. I'm giving all this because our grassroots activities of Bal Vihar, Yuva Kendra, study groups, all this is possible when we learn how our mighty rishis taught such subtle, even difficult themes that has been remembered over millenniums because of their methodology of teaching. Now here is the picture, the metaphor of the chariot. In Kathopanishad, it is in one manner, which is picturesquely brought out in the Bhagavad Gita. But here, Bhagavan Ramchandraji is using that same chariot in a very new perspective. And he says, Sauraj dhiraj tehi rath chaka Satya sila drida dvaja pataka Bala vivek dam parahita ghore. Kshama kripa samatara jujore. Any car or any chariot will move ahead when it has got strong, steady, yeah, and wheels that move smoothly, swiftly. Without wheels, no chariot can move ahead, no car can move ahead or reverse also. With those noisy tee, 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 tee. So first Bhagwan takes up the wheels of the chariot. Because we want to move towards that destination, we want to move towards our success, we want to move towards victory. So Sauraj, Dhiraj, Tehirat, Chaka. Chaka means wheels. They are Sauraj and Dhiraj. And while we are here also, we will giving you certain exercises that you can develop it here and now. First thing is, what situations are you facing in your personal life or even in your mission work? Yeah. And have you given up? Or even if you want to, how are you going to generate those resources as well as that spirit to move ahead? Here Bhagwan says, Sauraj, Dhiraj, Tehirat, Chaka. Sauraj, courage. Dhiraj, fortitude. Yeah? Dhairya, fortitude. Now, to move forward anywhere in life, you require courage. That is quite obvious, isn't it? Jo dara, so mara. Fear is paralyzing. Now, fear comes to us in many, many different ways. Yeah, different names for fear only. Whether it's anxiety, whether it is worry, whether it is stress. Yeah? These are all different forms of fear. Even that I can't do it. This is impossible. Grapes are sour, the idiom. These are all different forms of fear. Now understand that courage is not absence of fear. If a terrible situation or a difficult situation comes, if you are about to face financial losses, you mean to say you're not going to have fear in your company. But courageous people and brave people are not those who do not have fear. They're not like these wild teenagers without helmet, riding on a motorbike at speeds in the middle of the night, speeds that are beyond your control. That is not called as daring, that's called as foolishness. Yeah? But in spite of the situation being frightening, challenging, difficult, the opponent being terrifying also, to overcome your fear, to reach your goal. And here, let me tell you, mothers are a great example of it. If there is any danger to the child, look at that courage that she develops in that fear of the danger to the child. She doesn't fear anything. She will just go and do anything possible to free the child, is it not? That is called as courage. Now, courage is that power that moves the wheels forward. And you know that every car has got two set of wheels. One is unless it's a what is it called that? Four-wheel drive, no? All cars have got four wheels. So what do you mean four-wheel drive? Means all the four wheels are driving. But the back wheels are the one which powers the car to move ahead. But the front wheels must also move smoothly. Can you imagine if the front wheels were caught up or jammed? Your car will turn upside down. The front wheel is the ones that's going to face the obstacles first. Whether there's a boulder or whether there's a ditch. See how beautiful is the description. The more you meditate, these are meditative pictures. The more you meditate and create this picture in your mind, the front wheels, Bhagavan calls it as fortitude. Fortitude is that capacity, Daya, that whatever difficulties, obstacles that come on the way, to face them and to overcome them, that is called as fortitude. Not to stop if there is any obstacle. Gurudev used to give a beautiful example, 13th chapter of the Gita, where this word for even gaining self-realization, knowledge, there he used to explain fortitude. He says fortitude is like the Ganga. When she leaves the calm, peaceful glaciers, and as she gushes down into the valley, what is Ganga not faced by? Pebbles, rocks, boulders, and even mountains on the way. But she stops not till she reaches her goal. That spirit to keep your focus on your goal and not stop till you reach your goal, you will find your way. He says, in fact, where there is no obstacles on the way of Ganga, like when you go to certain places, or when you come close to Calcutta, there's no dips, no waterfalls, nothing. No rapids. Ganga is just a drab of a river. Some people think life is really boring. But when she comes down, where there are pebbles, she skips over them. And Gurudev will dramatize it so beautifully. She skips over them. When there's a rock, she jumps over it. No? If there is a rock, she picks up her lacy skirt, frilly skirt, and she wriggles her way around those rocks, or splashes over them and flows over them, or jumps over them. And if there's a huge mountain, she just giggles her way around the mountain, but she stops not till she reaches the goal. That is called as fortitude or Daya. If there is a goal to be reached, stop not till you reach your goal. And that's what Gurudev will say. If your goal is noble, for the benefit of not only yourself, but for many, don't you ever give up. Now, how do we develop this courage and Daya? So beautifully pointed out in the Ramayana itself. That when all the monkeys came to the shore and they were told by Sarpati that Sita is in Lanka, and he says, one who has got courage, one who's got Daya, one who has got cleverness, one who's got bala, Viveka, can reach there. Everybody started measuring their strength. Hanumanji was silent. Hanumanji did not say a word. But how did Vibhishan bring courage? When we take these sections for our youth camps, yeah, remind yourself of the strength that you have. Remind your loved ones about the strength you have. Remind your team members about the strength that you have. What did Jamwan do? He goes and says, Pavana Tanaya Bala Pavana Samana. He reminds Arjuna that you are son of Pavan. Don't ever forget, we are in whose mission? Whose children are we? Whose sevaks are we? Yeah? That's what the first message I gave in 2017. Think big, think Chinmaya. Whose name do we carry? Whose power do we carry? Whose vision do we carry? Whose children are we? In whose mission are we? We forget that and we say that how is it possible? Pavana Tanaya, you're the son of Pavan. Yeah. We are members of Chinmaya mission. The one who made the impossible possible. Right? And even your strength is no less because you carry his power with you, his name with you. How often Guruji keeps on saying, no, we have the power of Gurudev's name with us. Even our chief accountant will tell you that how often most difficult situations reaches there and only they see the name Chinmaya, they know that nothing can be wrong. And they are ready to assist. No? The Pavana Tanaya Bala Pavana Samana. Then why are you quiet, Hanumanji? And then gives Hanumanji a sense of purpose. And if that we have in our mind, then we will not stop till we reach our goal. And whatever challenges came to Hanumanji, whether it was the tendency to rest, Menak Parvat, whether it was this Sursa trying to devour him, or whether Sinika pulling him down. All these obstacles, how did he conquer? Because Ram Kaj Lagi Tava Avatara. That if we think that our main purpose in life is to do Ramchandraji's work. And Ramchandraji's work is Dharma Karya. Gurudev's work is Dharma Karya. Then look at the courage and look at the fortitude of Hanumanji. That he is the one who went and met Lakshmi Sita. And because of that, even the battle could be fought to win back Sita. So this is what Vibhishan Gita is. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.